Just when I thought that it couldn't get any better, I just got YouTube live stream to work. Welcome to my world. Come on in. I think I'm going to move my camera over. I have it working. I decided to come to my office and sit here tonight on Thursday just to celebrate what a fantastic day it is. And I really thank God for Thursdays, because if we didn't have a day to just be grateful and thankful for all our blessings, I just don't know what we would do. So I want to sit with you tonight and just tell you a few things that I'm grateful for. And I want to start with Emily Dickinson. Like, I'm going to spend our whole year just kind of deep diving into Emily Dickinson. The saying I want to start with is that it will never come again is what makes life so sweet. And I think that's why I'm doing this digital home. And that every day that I can, I'm going to be live streaming my 7 days. And I'm so grateful for my girlfriend, Carrie, who has a company called Tender Hearts. And what a name, Tender Hearts. She has sent me two women, Terry and Dee. They both knew my mother, and they have come into our home 3 years ago to be with Dad here at their home. I live with my parents, and they are the reasons why I'm able to myself be a caregiver to the depth that I am. So it's very easy to take care of sick people, because especially if you are not always in the best health yourself, because there's nothing like learning how to be still. And a lot of times people that are very busy, go, 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 they don't know how to be still. So with Carrie's help, she has sent me two women that have come 8 to 10 hours a day to help. So for those of you that worry about my health or how I'm able to keep doing what I'm doing in the midst of caretaking, it's because of Carrie Steinbach. She has a company called Tender Hearts, who has sent me Terry and Dee, and they have become very dear to me. And they both knew my mother, which just makes them like family now. And my dad has taken such a shine to them. So today I'm just really grateful for their spirit and their encouragement, and they have been with me every step of the way. And so that is where I want to start today, is what are you grateful for? On our podcast that we did tonight with Bozo, I just sometimes wonder if people that come in to a home of caregiving, and those of us that need caregiving, I sometimes wonder if those people really know how much that helps. My dad is just beside himself. It just changes the mood in the house. It just puts a whistle in their step. And so for those of you out there that have someone in your life that is not well, hook up to this Zoom and find a way to reach out to them, or call them. And I will tell you that it is it is really something. So life is sweet in our home, and it's because of people like Carrie Steinbach. So I hope that you will tell me what you're grateful for. Thursdays is Heart and Soul Day. My name is Colleen Liz Frost, and I am building a digital home. As I get ready for my pre-launch that I'm in now, I have written a book, and it's a mother's mission to the National Register of Historic Places while in remission. And I have been on a long, extended journey through the cancer wormhole of, just going through that has been a journey. And I think when you do fight something as aggressive as that has been in my past, you just really value the sweet life that opportunities like study drugs and extended surgeries, and things can build up in you. And it takes rocks like my son and my family, my sister, my twin brother, who have been instrumental. Reflecting on my mother, I want to share with you when I came home 20 years ago to live with them. I had also went through a divorce. I wondered, well, where am I going to live? Well, of course, they threw the doors open, and I had a very young son at the time, and we moved in here then. And so here I'm back. But I took my son to Perms Parks. We have 17 parks. So for those of you that need a day like Thursdays for heart and soul, I suggest to find a place where you can ponder peace and get to the center of your gratefulness. I would suggest to start this spring out in a park. And this is the first day that my son and I went to the park. And I told him, honey, you don't ever have to worry about where our home is, because our home is where our rocks are. So this is our very first home, and we put it in a jar. And of course, I saved it because I'm a hoarder, but I'm a very organized hoarder. So I love Thursdays, and I love this room. My mother gave me that desk that's back there, one of my most valuable things, because it's my writing desk. It's where I like to write. The other thing that I want to talk about today is I'm trying to pick one thing that I can help with this year. How can I help you? Because I know that so many of you have helped me my last 20 years for sure, but then also my whole life. So what can I help with? So one of the things I thought about was I've never had to be so recreated in 57 years as I have been with the choices, but also the circumstances that have happened to me. And I've had coaches along the way that I've met that I'm going to have on my podcast. And one of them, her name was Bonnie. And she helped me draft a new purpose statement in 2012 when I first wanted to launch the I Am Rare Presents. And so I want to take you on this one lesson that she taught me, how to rediscover myself as a mother that wanted to launch a business then. And I'm going to take you on that journey of a purpose statement, because maybe there's people out there that are in transition and in a tender-hearted situation. And I want to share that one lesson that she stuck with me for 1 year to help me create. And her name was Bonnie, and I want to share that lesson with you this year. I won't start it tonight, but that is called finding a purpose statement. Lastly, for those of you that do have a purpose and already know your constitution, a lot like my mother. Well, I sometimes think she had the best secret of all. She grew up right on top of an Indian reservation. And she said, honey girl, she said, when you go to a powwow, it'll change your life. We were very young when I went. She said, but you need to go every year. For those of you who have never been to a powwow, I would strongly suggest you take your children. Mother, I went with my son, and I'm just going to give you one example of what happened. There was about 900 people gathered in a circle, and they watched the dance. And out they came in their full regalia. And as they went around and around, I won't go into the whole, you'll just have to go. But I'll just give you one example of the power of the feather. And there was young children all around, and everybody was ruckus like a hockey game. I mean, it was just a vibrant scene. And it was overwhelming. And then the eagle feather dropped from one of their regalias. And everybody backed away. The stands were silent. Everybody was standing. And it was dead silence. And it went on and on for minutes, and then more minutes. And as everybody was backing away, the eldest man that was in full regalia Indian, he was finally brought to the forefront, escorted towards the eagle feather. And he was the one that was able to reach for it. It was probably the most spiritual thing I had ever seen. And my mother, at that point, when I came home, she was too sick to go. But she said, now, do you know the power of the feather, the power of the dream, the power of the flight? So it's those type of things that I grew up listening to. And so I don't know what your faith is, but I know that you all have a faith in something. And I'm going to share things like that with you on Thursdays. And if any of you out there have intimate stories of how you grew up, I want to invite you on the podcast. So if you have a regalia or if you are a dancer, I for sure want to know you and want to have you in my digital home to tell the stories as best you can, because you obviously are more intimate than I am. But from an outsider looking in, I'm telling you they were some pretty vibrant things to share with my son. So arts and culture and all these things I want to have be a part of my digital home. Lastly, I want to tell you that I love shoes. And my mother told me, she says, honey girl, never judge another person unless you've walked in their moccasins. And so I don't have any plans on judging any of you. And therefore, I hope that you never judge me. I'm in development, and I plan on staying that way because I have a lot to learn, and I'm willing to learn. And I hope my grandkids always stay in a state of learning. Life is sweet, and I think that it will never come again today. So that's why it's even more sweet that I was able to record it and I was able to enjoy it. And no matter how our bodies are physically, it's still sweet. And if it wasn't for the Carrie Steinbachs, who have brought us two angels that help take care of us and keep our spirits up, it would be a lot harder to put a smile on our face, even in our darkest days. And that's why I do walk around with the whistle in my step. So it does take a team. I have an excellent team, and I am used to being on a team. And when my mother left me, she says, honey girl, now it's time for you to be a head coach. And I didn't quite get what she was saying because I just looked up to her so much, as I'm sure so many of you have looked up to your parents or to somebody. And as I lean into that role of being a head coach, I know it will take time. But with your encouragement and less prescriptions on how I could do it or should do it, and more, it's pretty good for right now. And but however, I'm also open to suggestions and a nod here and there for a lean into a different direction. So I'm open to new things, but like with anyone that's starting out, I do like encouragement. And but at the same token, on Thursdays, I think just to take a deep breath and be grateful. Lastly, I want to share with you my grandfather's toolbox. It was in our basement here. I have acquired quite a few tools of help that I've gotten along the way. Professional help from, I'm going to tell you about her on how to be a better communicator. And I would like to share some of those tools. And most of my tools did come from my parents, including my dad. He's a pretty wise man. You know, my dad taught me the lesson. He says, never get too high and never get too low. And that's been one of the hardest ones to 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 practice. Um, but then my mother said, "Put your shoulders back, put your chin up, straight ahead." So we were never really allowed to get too low, and we were also never allowed to get just like wahoo. So that's why it's just been kind of a running thing that, yeah, I get happy, but I also, we tone it down a little bit around here after we're all done with you. So we do have a pretty good balance, but with 7 days a week and some extras and a little love mores, I think we've had a pretty good system. So I hope you're enjoying the 7 days, and I hope you enjoy Thursdays, because that's where we just kind of rein it in, be grateful, give thanks, and celebrate the wins, and give our gratefulness to somebody bigger than ourselves. And if you don't know where you're going, I would say to start in a park. And if you need some help, I'd give Carrie Steinbach a call, because without her, I don't think I would ever be able to be here with you. My Terry and Dee are, they're irreplaceable. So thank you for your time tonight. Remember me, number 33, and I'll bring you back to my shoe department another night. I can't wait. I hope you remember me, and I hope you subscribe below and like and share the video. And that's how we get the word out on how important Thursdays are. So thank you. And the book is coming. It's percolating at the editors, and she needs time now, and she needs space. She also is needing to celebrate her history, as she has lost her father. So time, I can take time. She took time for me. So just enjoy every day, because life is sweet. And I made it this far, and I'm very grateful.